This threat and vulnerability management program that we were talking about before now has a purpose, and all these tests can mean something specific. So instead of doing penetration testing just to do penetration testing, for example, this penetration test can be set up to take a specific angle, to be able to emulate a specific threat against attempting to gain access to a specific business asset. And it will be testing the efficacy of controls that have been identified and part of the security operations to be able to protect said assets across their IT infrastructure. So let's take a look at what the tactical example of this is. So y'all may have seen this eye chart. So this is a really hard to read demonstration of the MITRE attack framework. This is actually the MITRE attack framework navigator, the attack navigator that's right here. This provides a great way to be able to visualize the types of attacks that certain threat actors would have. But this tool has the unique ability to be able to put these things together. So once we have this threat model and we understand who the threats are, we understand what the IT landscape looks like, we understand where the business priorities are, and we know how the security operations program has been set up, whether it was set up by that existing security leader or if they have inherited it, which is more likely the case. The attack navigator can be used to be able to identify and visualize all of those controls. So I put one together here. These blue boxes are, I won't say arbitrary, but this was taken from an example of work that we've done with another client, actually other clients, that demonstrates the types of things that this organization can detect using their current technology stack, their technology and procedures ultimately. All these cells in blue are what they are optimized to be able to detect and to be able to defend against. If you take that and you overlay it with a threat, so just for the sake of argument, I'm using the threat of an internal user gone bad. So this next slide, all these red cells are the capabilities that rogue user has, because those red cells actually are the capabilities of the Empire toolkit. This shows you where the attack path can be put together, where the bad guy, so to speak, the threat here, the threat actor, can attempt to gain access to something they're not supposed to gain to impact that business priority. So if you take both these views and you overlay them, you end up with the blue stuff, which is what the blue team can their analytics are prepared to identify and detect and potentially prevent. And you have the red, which is the offensive capabilities. Then you have these green boxes. So the green boxes is where the blue boxes and the red boxes overlap. So based on the existing security investments in people, processes, and technologies that are highlighted in blue, and cross-referenced with all of the offensive techniques that are highlighted in red, you get those green boxes, which are, these are the things that can be detected. So if we look at this, and we want to put this threat over this defensive landscape and identify what kind of an attack scenario we can put together, we can do many things. We can pick a path that has that starts with execution of something. Let's say that the blue team can't detect. Let's say they can't detect the use of trusted developer utilities. They just don't have a way to be able to monitor and manage that. Let's say they don't have a way to detect bypassing user account control. Taking these together and putting an attack path together here, you can do several things. First thing you can do is you can pick those things that the red team can do that the blue team can't, and exercise that path and see if there's any tangential systems or tangential controls that can help mitigate that as one outcome. It'll justify either for the organization, it can justify perhaps some more investment within a specific control family, or it may identify that, hey, it turns out that we can detect these things in how they were executed in this attack path through an existing solution we already have. Our endpoint, our EDR system can identify a particular action that they weren't expecting it to see. Conversely, you can put an attack path together that will specifically highlight where those green cells are. So if you think you can identify past the hash on your network, putting together an attack plan that will include past the hash within a real attack, not just one of those exercise type functions where you execute past the hash as a proof of concept. But this would be within an actual attack path. Ensure that past the hash happens within the organization. This will demonstrate whether you can see it in a real world scenario. So for an organization, a test like that goes through the green boxes could demonstrate whether their controls are operating effectively. So once you've got this together and you've got these attack simulations together and you can carry them out, you can record the results, well, what are you going to do with them? Yeah, you got to make it better, right? That's the whole purpose of this is let's do this in a little more structured way to be able to make us all better. So this, with the outcome of these attack scenarios, generally there's going to be a control update. Let's say it identifies the need for a specific control in a certain area. Well, that control is going to be updated. Your blue boxes are going to be updated as well, and you may find that you have another green box, another thing that you can identify within the existing attack path. Conversely, that attack scenario might identify that you have blue boxes where you didn't think you had them, based on controls that weren't efficiently enumerated, and that may change an organization's susceptibility to threat. Perhaps there was a APT32, some threat well-known threat actor group that had particular techniques that exploited something that was previously, seemingly unprotected. But it turns out that that type of activity would be detected. It would eliminate the APT32 as being one of those threat actors that you'd have to focus on being able to protect, being able to invest to protect, because you already have that existing investment to identify and mitigate that threat. So the outcome of the attack scenario yields those control updates. Those control updates change susceptibility to threat, and you take that threat. Once you've changed the threat picture and the threat actors, you can update the threat analysis and threat intel within your threat model to be able to highlight or change the future path of those attack simulations as you go. This way, it takes what you've learned from your tests, feeds it back into the system, and helps you become better by evolving your tests over time.